Hi guys, so we start episode 4 with a new hazard. We've got Chinese fog of war, and it's weird. A lot of people who I was talking to with in the comments were saying how they prefer if the Roboteers had the fog of war in their face, but you could still see what was going on. So that's what they've got. But as with English fog of war, it doesn't do anything for me at all. It seems kind of irrelevant to robot combat. They seem to be able to see through it, because no one was sort of going like, crap, oh, I can't see. They're all just kind of like, yep, cool. And it seems to only be there for about 5 seconds anyway. And as soon as one team pressed it, the other team pressed it as well. So they were both blind for 5 seconds, and then they just carried on. So yeah, not to put it down on it, but it seemed pointless to me. So we're now on to the next round of battles. So all the robots now are ones that we've seen before. First up we had Whirlwind versus Spectre. And I don't want to fanboy out or anything, but Spectre is on form. Okay, so it just dominated this battle. The Crusher is incredible. The speed and power of the actual robot, regardless of the Crusher, is phenomenal. Like, it was really going for it. Not only that, it was very well driven, and when they got the spikes kind of stuck and they sort of lifted the other robot up, that kind of, I'm guessing, isn't done intentionally. It just happens to happen sometimes. But they had a plan for that, and they just drove it straight to the Nargalator, by the way. And just let it get chewed up by that. And on that point, so we're 4 episodes in, and suddenly we're introduced to this term Nargalator for the screw things. And that's awesome, obviously, Nargalator, fucking Nargalator. But it also makes me wonder, have they got these awesome words for like all of the billions of hazards they've got in there? Like, awesome, I want to know them all. But anyway, yeah, awesome, dominant battle from Spectre there. And it was also really cool to see Ian Lewis have a little talk about it afterwards. And he looked kind of like a proud father, like, you know, this thing is obviously inspired by Razor, you know, original design. And he just sort of looked like a kind of like, yep, that's my boy. Next battle was Tanky versus Deep Sea Giant Shark. This battle, I like the actual battle itself, the fighting. The presentation of it was really, it had everything that I'm not really enjoying about this show so far. Like an interview mid-battle, like it cuts away to someone talking. And I think that just takes you out of that battle so much, and it makes it more like a sort of cheesy, crappy reality TV show. So I really don't like that. Obviously, Deep Sea Giant Shark got stuck on one of the spikes, and the countdown began, and then they got off just at the last minute. But they hammed it up so much and made it so like, boom, boom, will they get off? And it just, like, that would have been an exciting moment just by itself, and probably more exciting if it was less expected, but they built it up so much, I was like, it's going to fall off at the last minute, isn't it? Oh, there it goes. And it just, the presentation of the whole battle was just kind of a bit crap. But the actual battle itself, like I say, I don't want to put a down on it, was awesome, like, and because of the back and forth and stuff, and especially when Deep Sea Giant Shark came back from getting loose of the spike, and then Tanky came up in and just did a flip and just completely missed, and I was like, oh crap, are they going to be like, you know, from going from 1 second from victory to just being annihilated. But so that was really exciting. And it's really good just to see Tanky actually on form. Like I say, last battle I thought, these flips don't seem that great, but these were monstrous flips. And afterwards, the Deep Sea Giant Shark team, they all started sort of crying again. And that happens quite a lot on here. But I mean, it's good to see people very in touch with their emotions. That's always good. But I'm glad they didn't have, you know, like, the evil foreign English people and then, you know, the poor innocent, you know, Chinese folks, because that would have been awful, and I was like really worried it was going to go that way given how cheesy the rest of the battle had been. But thankfully they showed them all hugging and, you know, getting on afterwards, and like the sportsmanship there, so that's good. Battle 3 was Grill Judge versus Great Crossbow and Steel Shield. So if you remember back in the first battle with Grill Judge, I said I was really impressed and I really wanted to see more from them, because they looked very impressive, but they just didn't, the battle was over too quickly to see. I stick by that. I want to see more and more of these guys, because fuck me, that opposing robot, the whole like actual structure of it was obliterated at the back and had this horrific like black smoke, which I don't think I've ever seen before in robot combat. Yeah, wow. Like, phenomenal. Battle 4 was Blade Gyro versus Rustbore, and this I was like quite excited about. I was like, this is rip-off Tombstone versus rip-off Minotaur. Like, this is the BattleBots Season 2 final that we always wanted to see. And it turns out all that would happen was Minotaur would have driven around in circles and Tombstone would have got stuck on a wall. So yeah, maybe not quite as dramatic as that might have been. But we did get to see the Minotaur-style I'm going to call it Rust Ball, because that's actually his name. The Rust Ball celebration, the gyro celebration. That was cool. Next up was Blue versus Thunderstorm. So this battle, it was quite kind of one-sided. Thunderstorm never seemed to really get very maneuverable and took some horrifying hits from Blue, which was brilliantly driven. Again, I just love that unique style of driving. It's just so cool. And one of the hammer hits, sort of onto the actual spinning weapon, remind me of Chomp versus Bite Force fight from BattleBots, where it just was straight on the weapon. And the final battle, because there was only 6 in this episode, was the Grubs versus Saber. And again, quite an impressive performance from Saber. I'm sort of repeatedly surprised by this thing. I don't know why. It's a big, sort of steep wedge flipper, which usually does quite well, so I don't know why I'm surprised. And I like the little angled sort of hinge bits on the front to keep it really low to the ground. That's a cool little design thing. The Grubs, sadly, they never really acted as a sort of team. They were sort of just coming in for one hit here and there, and it just didn't really work as a team, which was a shame. I think maybe if their spinners were a bit lower and kind of flatter, maybe they'd be a bit more successful, because they do seem to sort of just ping off to the side quite a lot. Overall, because obviously we're on the second round now, the battles are getting a bit more intense and quite well driven. I'm intrigued to know. Like I say, I'm still not sure who's going to win this thing. I think Spectre is in with a very good chance. They've just got everything. They've got the reliability, the speed, the power, the control factor of that. Obviously they're up against a big spinner this time, but they, which could have been, the massive downfall there, but they just straight on it, and that was it. So yeah, I guess we'll see. And the next episode, as of filming, is tonight. So we won't have to wait long. So thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, enjoy the next episode. Cheerio.